Gospel mission going forth. We continue. Only this time in chapters 16 and 17, it's gospel mission to non-believers. How does one preach among those who are not Christians? So, these two chapters take the brothers forward in mission to be among non-believers and to preach in this totally different cultural context. So these chapters continue to refine how the brothers are to go about in the world. And the principles are the same, gospel principles. Among the unbelievers, be subject to them. Learn their culture and their vision of the world. And in preaching to them, the brothers must be very humble, not boast of their good works or deeds. These two principles, articulating the earlier rule, go, I believe, to the heart of the Pope's third chapter, entitled Proclamation of the Word. First of all, about being subject to them, the Pope reminds us that missionary disciples must remember one very important thing, and I quote, God has found a way to unite himself to every human being in every age. Thus, we must be subject to non-believers. We must first learn from them, even about God. That is, listen and let the unbelievers evangelize us. So this means we must first be subject to them in their cultural diversity. The Pope writes, we cannot demand that on all continents there be the European mode of expression of Christianity. And so he insists, the first step toward preaching in these contexts is in personal dialogue. Always, he adds, a dialogue that is respectful and gentle. Thus, as St. Francis would say, never boasting. Now about preachers in chapter 17. As that chapter ends, those who preach among non-believers must simply speak well, do well, and praise God. They cannot make the office of preaching their own, lest pride or boasting creep into their own words. Pope Francis confirms this. He insists over and over, the gospel word is to be shared humbly. This preaching, in this kind of context among unbelievers, differs from preaching in, for example, a homily among believers. In homiletic liturgical preaching, the Pope writes, preaching should guide the assembly and the preacher to life-changing communion with Christ in the Eucharist. One who preaches gospel should know well the different contexts, especially the context among believers or non-believers.